elephants, tigers, hippos. When you think of the Honolulu Zoo, these big animals may be the first to come to mind. But some of the zoo's tiniest residents may be among the most important to Hawaii.
Hawaii is the endangered species capital of the world. Because of our isolation, many species of plants and animals came here and then evolved into something that is found absolutely nowhere else. So the Honolulu Zoo has been working in conjunction with the DLNR, that's Department of Land and Natural Resources, to raise both Kamehameha butterflies, which are one of Hawaii's 2 endemic butterflies and also our state insect, and a species of extraordinarily rare and endangered Hawaiian land snail. With our land snails, our Amastra cylindrica, we're actually breeding and raising these snails, and we return the snails when they reach a certain size to DLNR, and DLNR releases them back into the wild. So these snails, because they live on the ground, eat dried leaves that have fallen off the trees to the forest floor, and they recycle the nutrients in those leaves back into the soil. So they're a very important part of the native environment. As you can see, the adults are maybe a little bit over 1 centimeter long, but the babies are incredibly tiny. And unlike most snail species which lay eggs, these snails give birth to live young. So they're producing 1 or 2 babies generally every week to every 2 weeks. As we clean the boxes, we search very carefully through all the leaves in the litter to make sure that we find these tiny itty-bitty baby snails. Because they're so small, it can be easy to overlook a snail. And I hike with a number of other people, and they tell stories of days in the past when they would find snails underneath trees up in the mountains. There were hundreds, even thousands of snails up there. And now when we go up, it's very, very difficult to see any snails at all. So there's been this drastic reduction in the population just in one human lifetime. Kamehameha butterflies here at the zoo are an interesting project. We spend a lot of time and a lot of effort on our butterflies. The adults have about a 3-week lifespan. And we keep the adults in our butterfly exhibit, and we give them mamaki, which is their host plant on which to lay their eggs. And roughly once a week, we will go in and we will harvest all the teeny tiny little butterfly eggs off of the mamaki, and we'll bring them into our insect lab, which is right next door. So the eggs will hatch into tiny, tiny caterpillars, which we will carefully keep each one in an individual cup. So if you come by our ectotherm exhibit, you'll actually be able to see these caterpillars being raised up in our insect lab. Kamehameha butterflies are actually fairly rare in the wild, and there are a number of Hawaii residents who may live here their entire lives and never have a chance to see one of these animals. So being able to display them here at the Honolulu Zoo and have people see them real life up close and see the caterpillars that we're growing here is actually a very special experience. With the Kamehameha butterflies and the native snails, one of the larger predators out there that they have to contend with in the wild right now are Jackson's chameleons. Jackson's chameleons were imported a long time ago for the pet trade. They accidentally got loose in the wild, and now there are large populations up there in the forest. And we do know that Jackson's chameleons prey on a wide array of native invertebrates, including the native Hawaiian snails. Other predators out there that they have to contend with are the rats. Rats will eat a lot of snails. So Hawaii animals are already under siege from a number of different angles, and we don't want to add to that. If you see an animal that you think is not supposed to be here, you can call Hawaii State Department of Agriculture's pest line and report it. The Honolulu Zoo does work with the Hawaii State Department of Agriculture with their amnesty program. So if you have an illegal animal, you can turn it into Hawaii State Department of Agriculture, you can turn it into the Honolulu Zoo, you can turn it into the Hawaiian Humane Society. You may end up seeing that animal on display here at the Honolulu Zoo because we have taken in a number of animals that were turned in for amnesty in the past. A lot of the extinctions that have happened in Hawaii have happened within a single human lifetime, and it's very sad to think that what you may see here in the Honolulu Zoo on display, your children may never get a chance to see these animals if they do become extinct. So one of the things that we try to do is keep that from happening. And we would like anybody watching this to also do whatever they can to try to help keep that from happening as well. So these animals can be here for the next generation and the generations to come after that.